It's over. Royal showdown at Grassen, King Frederik and Queen Mary's explosive fight stuns Denmark. Welcome to BNews. In a moment that has left the royal world reeling, the fairy-tale image of Denmark's beloved king and queen has been shattered. Sources close to Grassen Palace have confirmed what many feared and few expected. An explosive argument between King Frederik and Queen Mary has erupted, loud, public, and visible to stun staff and advisors. After decades of carefully curated harmony, this fiery confrontation is not just a private matter, it's a historic moment unfolding in real time. The Danish royal court is in shock. The nation is watching. And tonight, we reveal every dramatic detail. But before we dive into this royal bombshell, make sure to subscribe to Celebrity Television, hit the bell, and like this video to stay informed on the real stories behind palace walls. Share your thoughts in the comments. This isn't just a scandal, it's a shift in royal history. It began with a whisper, as all palace storms do. At precisely 7:26 p.m. on August 5, courtiers were preparing for a private diplomatic reception inside Grassen Palace when an argument between the monarchs suddenly erupted from one of the upper salons. Witnesses say voices were raised, first the king's, then the queen's. Moments later, what had begun as an intense conversation reportedly turned into a verbal altercation so loud it caused attendees to pause mid-step. The sound of a crystal glass shattering followed. And then, silence. Within minutes, word spread like wildfire through the palace halls, "They're fighting, and it's bad." The cause? Sources suggest a long-standing disagreement over royal obligations and personal priorities. Queen Mary has allegedly been pushing for a more modern, autonomous role in the monarchy, one that supports her growing humanitarian initiatives in Australia and Africa. Meanwhile, King Frederik is said to be feeling increasingly isolated, under pressure to uphold Denmark's deep-rooted royal traditions while managing personal insecurities about his public image and relevance. Tensions have been simmering behind closed doors for months, but no one expected them to boil over so violently, and in the presence of royal aides. Multiple insiders now confirm that this was not a one-off clash. The fight was, according to palace employees, the culmination of months of passive tension. One staff member, speaking anonymously, shared that Queen Mary has been growing distant from court affairs and spending more time at her private residence in Aarhus. Meanwhile, the king has been described as increasingly erratic in his schedule, attending events alone, and often choosing to remain at the palace while Mary travels abroad. "They're rarely together anymore," the source said. "Even when they are, it feels cold." While the Danish royal house has not issued a formal statement, silence in such circumstances often speaks louder than a press release. Photos released the following morning show Queen Mary departing the palace grounds without her ring. It was a subtle but unmistakable signal. Gone was the iconic sapphire band gifted to her by Frederik during their 2003 engagement. She wore a minimalist gold band on her right hand instead, a move royal watchers believe was meant to send a message. The Queen's expression? Composed, tight-lipped, and unreadable. King Frederik, meanwhile, has not been seen publicly since the argument. His absence has raised eyebrows and deepened the mystery surrounding what really happened that night. Rumors are now swirling that he is currently staying at the royal hunting estate in Trend, northern Jutland, away from the press, the palace, and perhaps most tellingly, away from Mary. Danish tabloids report that royal security vehicles were seen entering the estate late Tuesday evening, sparking speculation that the king has taken a temporary leave from his official duties. Royal historian Lars Mikkelsen has described this incident as one of the most dramatic personal crises in the history of the Danish monarchy. Speaking to BNews, he stated, "We've had divorces, we've had affairs. But we've never had such a public unraveling of a reigning monarch's marriage while still on the throne." Mikkelsen emphasized that the royal institution depends heavily on the image of stability and continuity. When that image cracks, it's not just the crown that's shaken, it's the faith of the people. Social media exploded as news of the royal fight broke. #royal breakup, #Frederik and Mary, and #Grassen crisis began trending across Denmark and Australia. International news outlets picked up the story within hours. From Sydney to Copenhagen, royal watchers began dissecting footage, statements, and historical patterns. Could this be the first real sign of a royal separation? Was the public finally witnessing the unraveling of a royal fairy tale? Public reaction has been divided. Many have taken to Queen Mary's side, praising her strength and resilience over the years. "She gave up everything to be part of this royal life," one user posted. "If he's turning on her now, she deserves better." Others defended King Frederik, suggesting the pressures of rule and an increasingly modernized monarchy may be taking a toll on his mental health. As often happens in royal conflicts, the nation is quietly picking sides, even as the palace remains silent. Some insiders suggest that Queen Mary may be seeking counsel from Queen Margrethe II, Frederik's mother and former monarch, who famously abdicated the throne in favor of her son in 2024. Queen Margrethe remains a towering figure of stability and may play a crucial role in mediating the crisis. "If there's anyone who can help them find a path forward, it's her," said one royal advisor. But whether they're willing to listen is another matter entirely. Meanwhile, diplomatic circles are feeling the effects. The cancelled reception has caused quiet unrest among Denmark's foreign allies. Ambassadors and visiting dignitaries were left with hastily worded apologies and awkward handshakes. "There's no denying this has damaged Denmark's reputation for calm, poised leadership," said a senior diplomat. "It's not just a family matter, it's political." The Danish constitution offers no modern roadmap for handling royal marital separation during an active reign. While a divorce would not legally require abdication, it would undoubtedly create a constitutional and cultural quagmire. What happens to the image of Denmark's monarchy? How would the public respond to a royal breakup in the age of transparency and TikTok? Behind the palace walls, however, this is not about protocol or popularity. It's about two people who once vowed to share a life, now possibly standing at its breaking point. Close friends of the couple say that their bond has been strained by contrasting values and unmet expectations. "Mary is forward-thinking, global," said a family acquaintance. "Frederik is deeply rooted in tradition. That gap has grown too wide to bridge." Despite this dramatic rupture, Queen Mary has continued her public appearances. Just yesterday, she attended a UN Women event in Copenhagen, where she gave a rousing speech on female leadership and resilience. Though she did not address the rumors directly, her message felt pointed. "Strength," she said, "isn't always loud. Sometimes, it's choosing not to break when the world expects you to." It remains to be seen whether this storm will pass or become a permanent scar in the legacy of Denmark's royal house. But one thing is clear, the days of the perfect royal couple are over. A new chapter is beginning, whether they like it or not. For now, the people watch. The cameras roll. And the question on everyone's lips isn't whether they'll recover, but how far they've already fallen. What do you think? Will King Frederik and Queen Mary survive this royal storm, or are we witnessing the beginning of a royal divorce? Comment below and join the conversation.